Joining me is Daisy Cousens, the YouTube star who runs her own video channel. Go check it out. Daisy, lovely to speak to you. The Pope is pitching to the social media crowd. Is the social media crowd buying this stuff? Is it buying him?
Well, no, that's the ironic thing. The social media doesn't seem to care about the Pope, yet he seems to sort of relentlessly cater to it. But I'm afraid he's preaching to the wrong crowd, so to speak. And in fact, the Pope has made himself incredibly unpopular with a lot of Catholic conservatives because he seems to be using his platform as Pope as a sort of political platform, which I think is completely inappropriate, in the same way that it's inappropriate for the British royal family to be politically partisan. But of course, that's all fallen well by the wayside in recent times, thanks to Meghan and Harry, etc. But the thing is, Andrew, you know, the Pope is meant to be a figurehead for all Catholics. He's meant to be a symbol of unity and of hope for Catholics of all political persuasions. And the problem with politics is that there is a certain exclusivity to it. The minute you say you're one way politically, well, you tend to sort of exclude a lot of other people inherently. And the ironic thing is like I said, social media doesn't care about the Pope or Catholicism beyond deriding it. So he seems to be seeking the approval of people who are never going to like him anyway.
Well, I don't get it. As soon as a man says there's a glaciers at the North Pole, I think whatever else he has to say about global warming, I could safely ignore. Oscar-winning actor Tom Hanks and his wife caught the coronavirus here in Australia. They were quarantined here for weeks. They had plenty of chance to study the Australian accent, I would have thought. Now, Hanks copped grief for tweeting a picture allegedly of his breakfast toast smeared with half an inch of Vegemite, which seemed obviously a bit fake. I doubt very much he could have eaten that. Also fake is his accent when he, on the weekend, opened Saturday Night Live from his home. Have a listen.
Anybody else? Yes, you, sir.
Hello. I got a question for Tommy Tim Tam. What's the right proper way to get a daily dose of your Vegemite?
All right, enough of that.
A right proper way? Now, here's what I don't get, Daisy. The man is said to be one of Hollywood's greatest actors. He spent weeks here. And that's the best Australian accent he could do? I mean, what's going on here?
Well, look, first of all, on the subject of the photo he posted, no self-respecting true Australian eats Vegemite out of a tube, for goodness sake. That's a tourist thing. I have Vegemite on my toast every morning of my life, Andrew, and I wouldn't have been seen dead having it out of a tube. My goodness me. Look, on the subject of the accent, when it comes to American actors, God bless them, they could be the most brilliant Oscar-winning actress that's the actor or actress that has ever lived, but unfortunately, none of them can ever seem to do a halfway decent Australian accent. They are uncannily bad at it, and I believe it's...
Oh, wash your mouth out. What about this line? The dingo ate my baby. I mean, speaking of miscarriages of justice, wasn't that a great accent by Meryl Streep?
Well, that is true. Meryl Streep. It was dreadful. No.
Hey, this morning, ABC TV had on air a regular on my show, Daniel Wild of the Free Market Institute Public Affairs, very smart guy. And Daniel talked about the coronavirus restrictions being too strict. Now, but the problem is the IPA being on the ABC is seen as so wrong by so many ABC leftists. The feedback to his appearance is so hostile that host Michael Rowland had to publicly defend even inviting on Daniel, saying it's our role of the ABC to accommodate and test all viewpoints in Australian society and not just from one side of the spectrum. Thanks for watching. Now, Daisy, apart from the fact he had to apologise for trying to introduce balance for once, one of the critics, a writer and theologian of the left, he said he's of the left, actually asked, can we just arrest members of the IPA? Daisy, arrest someone? What's going on here?
Oh, God, well, it's been a frightful day for the IPA and for Daniel Wild on Twitter. I mean, the stuff they've been getting has been absolutely hideous. I mean, he was likened to Hitler Youth by one woman that I retweeted and called out simply for having a different opinion to those people on the coronavirus. First of all, I have to say it's extremely rich of that group of leftists to think that they sort of have sole ownership over the ABC and what's on it, when in actual fact, it's all of our tax dollars that pay for for it, not just theirs. We all need our views represented. And the second thing, Andrew, is Daniel is very unfortunately one of the first lambs to be sacrificed on the left's latest altar of morality ultimatum. They also always have a sort of moral ultimatum cooking. I mean, for a while there, of course, it was climate change. Prior to that, it was gun laws after the terrible shooting in New Zealand. And right now, it's coronavirus. And the way that they are framing this is that if you do not 100% agree with these great big government restrictions, locking the whole country down, etc., then you hate old people. You don't care if they die, and you're happy to sacrifice people in order to make money. And I've had all those things said to me on Twitter, and I've said a lot less than Daniel and the IPA, that's for sure. Again, I'll say it, Andrew, till I'm blue in the face. This is the crowd of people who insist how tolerant and empathetic and how compassionate they are towards people who are different to them.
Correct.
One whiff of a different opinion and you'll see just how terribly intolerant they actually are. It's really vile behaviour.
Arrest them. I mean, it's just shocking. But you're quite right. For me saying, listen, the curve is being smashed. We can release some of these restrictions, just the few. I had some TV weatherman, I can't even remember his name. On saying, "F you, Andrew Bolt, on behalf of my aged parents," like I wanted them dead. I mean, what crazy people out there.
Crazy.
Anyway, Daisy Cousens, thank you so much indeed for your time.